What's going on, everybody? Rob, a.k.a. Robbie Diesel here, and you already know where I'm at. And you know where I'm at, so you know what I'm doing. It is not officially Motor City Comic Con weekend until I talk to the homie, TJ Sterling.
What up, y'all?
TJ, what's going on, bro?
Man, I'm just happy to be back. I love Motor City. I love Michigan. I love coming back and seeing my people, familiar faces. It literally feels like family when I'm here. And, you know, my boy Rob, we've been linking and doing these podcasts, doing these cons, making moves, shaking, you know what I mean, since like 2016, 2017, right when I first started this business. So I just get happy and excited to see you and the family, man. I'm just happy to be back.
Yeah, you know, it's rare in this industry where you can say that, you know, you've made friends over time, and I feel like I can honestly say that. I know we keep up and keep in contact with each other even outside of the shows, and it's been wonderful seeing you grow as you progress throughout your career. So that's one of the first things that I want to talk to you about, like, how have things changed for you since the very first? I think Grand Rapids was the first time that we spoke.
That's right.
And I know you're out in L.A. now doing way big things out there, man. How have things changed for you since 2016?
Yeah, I mean, rapid expansion, I think for me, the biggest thing was always wanting to, you know, create really dope stories, you know, do something that, you know, because I'm a comic book fan at heart. So really making books as a fan for the fans, you know, for us, by us type energy every single day. And the cool thing about when you're making things holistically, when you're making things for the right reasons, things start to happen. Magic really happens. And when you're in a field like art, it is really a magical art form. You know, it really is something special. And, you know, when you're really investing in yourself and you're investing in other people, you're building holistically, things start to happen. And, you know, that's really what's happened in my career is just organic growth over time. And I'm really appreciative and grateful for that, to be honest.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, one of the biggest things that I love about the whole universe that you've built here is that every single one of your books, every single one of your stories has a tremendous amount of diversity in there. Yeah. And we live in a world now to where that diversity seems to be under attack. How important is it for you to continue to push those faces out there and give people that representation in your books?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, what's interesting about life and about the world is that there's good and bad, you know, and you can't have one without the other. So really and truly, there's always going to be people who don't want diversity, that don't want inclusion, that don't want an equal world. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunately the unfortunate reality of life. But that what should keep us pushing and moving forward. And so while diversity is under attack, it is incredibly important for us as creators of color to continue to do exactly what we're doing and not stop. I mean, I wasn't going to stop anyway, whether they're, you know, whoever was in office. I don't give a damn. Oh, yeah. They could have put a squirrel to run the right house. I still would be making comics and making hot stuff and making stories that are diverse for the reasons, because I just absolutely love it.
Yeah. So, and I know you do this for the love of things, and I want to talk about, and hopefully I'm not getting too far ahead of putting the horse before the cart, so to speak, but I know one of your mainline stories, you are rapidly approaching the end of that.
Yes.
Which is wild because, again, I've seen it from the inception, from the very start, mm-hmm. and now we're getting closer to the conclusion of that story. How do you feel about that? Is it sort of cathartic? Do you have any sort of emotions one way or another about telling the conclusion of the story that, I mean, to be frank, kind of made you where you are today?
That's right. Yeah, I have, ladies and gentlemen, he's talking about my flagship series, Okemos, which is the book I started the company with 10 years ago. Started with an issue 0 that I wrote and drew myself. And I just finished the drawing for Okemos issue 6 a couple months ago. It's currently being colored. And that's the book that basically brings everything full circle. You know, everything that you saw in the beginning of this series, saw the beginning of the company, it all comes to a close. And it's not technically a full close, though, because what it does is it opens the door for the spin-off series that I have planned.
Okay.
And the cool thing about the spin-off series is that it's within the same universe.
Right.
But it is in of itself something a little bit different, which is what I'm excited about. I'm excited for new beginnings, but I'm also excited to close one door and open another.
Absolutely. I was just about to say that, actually. When one door closes, another opens. And I know this is entirely different characters, entirely different universes, but one of your books that really caught my attention was the Shattered saga.
Yep.
I love the anti-hero aspect of it, but I also love the social commentary that came along with it. I know we got, the first book out there. If you haven't checked that out yet, make sure that you grab that. That book might be my favorite. Yes, absolutely. That one might be my favorite out of all of them so far. What direction, if you've started on it, I don't even know if you're working on it yet, but what direction do you intend on taking the second issue or the second volume of Shattered?
Yeah, so guys, Shattered Visions is our cyberpunk graphic novel. The main character is an anti-hero villain, but he's fighting the bigger villain, the corrupt government in his country. And, we in America are experiencing a very much corrupt government, with crazy politicians and, trust fund billionaires and, people who are just literally trying to take everything they can from this country. And when you have, this idea of what, is a hero or who can rise up to stop that, and sometimes you got to fight evil with evil. So with Volume 2, we're going to get deeper into this idea with Shatter, and we're really going to, produce something that is extremely entertaining, mind-blowing, crazy, and just like off-the-wall mad.
That's what I love, that the first volume ended on like the most insane cliffhanger. I could not wait to get to the second issue. So super excited for that one too, man. So let's talk about LA life for a little bit. You're kind of morphed into Hollywood TJ. You're out there in the sunshine. You're busier. Do you find it challenging to keep up with that busier lifestyle? Because I feel like in the entertainment industry, everything runs through LA. So is it hard adjusting to that lifestyle?
I think the biggest thing for me was just trying to find a friend group in the beginning, trying to connect, build connective tissue that was authentic. Mm-hmm. I think, because there's so much money in LA, there's so much opportunity, a lot of times people are trying to find a way to get their hands on it. But for me, I came with opportunities. I came with, plenty, in my wheelhouse. So I wasn't necessarily looking for anything. I was more just trying to holistically build and create something that was special. And so far I've done that. I think when you vibrate an authentic, frequency, you're going to just attract more authenticity. You're going to attract more good stuff. So, again, the biggest challenge for me is just finding the right people. And thankfully, after 3 years, I've done that. And I think with everything, there's just a reason and a season. And, don't know if I'll be in L.A. forever, but I do know right now it's been really, really good. It's been powerful, and I've been very appreciative of the experience.
Absolutely. And as you've, transformed yourself over the years, what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned about yourself making those transitions?
Yeah, the biggest thing, comics is an incredible teacher. I mean, it is trial by fire. I think I talked about this on the panel yesterday, that when you put your all into something as, strenuous and tiring but rewarding as comics, you kind of come out of the other side a better human being. You're better time management skills. You have more fulfillment because, you're like, hey, if I did this extremely hard thing, I can do anything else. It gives you a certain level of confidence that you might not have gotten in other places. So it definitely is something that enriches your spirit, enriches your life, but also gives you challenges too. But that's really anything worth doing is, going to be difficult, and that's just life.
Absolutely. And so we spoke a little bit about, the different things that your career and that life teaches you specifically. Yeah. And one of the things that you've kind of picked up on a little heavier now is the role of teacher. Yeah, you're teaching art now. What are some of the most important things that you would want to convey to this next generation of artists that are coming out?
Absolutely. I mean, the next generation is shoot. I had mentors, I had teachers, I had people that literally helped me get into the business and helped me understand the world of comics and put me on to certain shows. And I'm glad that I have the opportunity to do the same thing now after being, in the business for 10 years. Really, giving back is just how it should be. If you want to get something in return in any way, shape, or form, if you want to get enriched, then you have to give in order to get. And I feel like, Yeah, teaching is the way solely because it's an enrichment experience, and it's actually a lot of fun to be able to build with creators and help kind of like decode how some of this business works for others, because at one point I needed things decoded, and folks did that for me. So it's really kind of, again, an enriching experience. It's a fun experience being able to do that for others and just help. I really love that stuff.
Awesome, man. So the last thing, you've been in the game for 10 years now. I know you just recently went, not a full rebrand, but you kind of switched from specifically RAE Comics over into RAE Media. You're getting more into multimedia productions, things like that. What can fans of RAE Comics expect from RAE Media moving forward?
Absolutely. More unique stuff. I mean, shoot, there's TV things that are coming up. There's, again, we're working on some, gaming stuff. We already have Joystick Angels that is a soundtrack, to the entire book, which we're going to continue to do, and that's a multimedia experience. So just everything that we can do that's within the multimedia sphere, we're going to try to get our hands on.
All right. Stories are the most important things now, man.
Amen.
So, lastly, I know you're out there all over social media. Where can the people find you when they want to catch up or start catching up on your stories?
Absolutely. So you can find me at RAE Comics at Gmail or at RAE Comics on Instagram. Super easy to find me there. And there's a breakout link that takes you to my website, the online shop, everything, and you can check out our books there.
Awesome. TJ, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being on. Make sure that y'all get out there and support this gentleman. Literally one of my favorite artists out there right now. Every single book is a banger. You will not be disappointed. TJ, appreciate you so much.
Thanks a lot, man.
I'm signing off from Motor City Comic Con. I'll catch y'all on the next one.
Later.
Peace.